Hello. Hey guys, welcome to CodeGuide. And today in this session, we'll discuss the topic the Python keyword, the identifier, and comments in Python. And we will cover the both three topics, that is the keyword, identifiers, and comments in this. And in further section, we'll also discuss the or see the implementation part where we will get the more understanding about this topic. Now, starting with the Python keyword and identifiers and comments. So we should understand these are the basic building blocks of Python. So starting with the definition, that reserved word with special predefined meaning integral to Python syntax, and they cannot be used as names for a variable, function, or any other identifier. Now, as you know, Python is a simple and readable language. So to write Python code, we need to understand the keyword, identifiers, and comments. So starting with the keywords are the reserved words. Okay, these are the reserved words in Python, and they have special meaning and cannot be used as variables name. So whenever we need to define a variable, we cannot use this Python keyword as variables name. Now examples can be like if, else, for, while, class, try, true, none. So these are the keywords and they have their specific meaning for a specific task. They can be used, but we cannot use them as a variable name. So we need to take care of that part. Now the list of common Python keywords are like def, return, import, from, as, try, except, finally, raise, true, false, none, is, in, and, or, not, class, with. So total there are around 35 keywords, and these keywords have a specific task they can execute. So they are used for only that purpose, not for declaring a variable name. So that is the main thing we should take care of. Now moving on, we have the identifier. So names given to entities like variables, functions, classes, modules, or other objects, and must follow specific naming rules, such as starting with a letter or underscore and basic case sensitive. So identifiers are basically names given to variables, functions, classes, etc. And you create them in your own program, and rules are there. So for identifier, you must start with a letter or underscore. Okay. Now for the starting for any declaring any variable, you can start the variable name with a letter or an underscore. We can include digit, letter, and underscores also, but we cannot use keywords as identifier. So whatever the keywords we have seen earlier, they cannot be used as identifier. And first of all, this should be a valid identifier. Whenever we are declaring any identifier for any variables or class, any functions or modules, these identifiers should be starting with underscore or with a letter. But we cannot use any keyword as an identifier. We cannot start any identifier by a digit. Okay. So while declaring a variable, I cannot start with the variable name as one name or three names starting with the digit. It is not allowed and it is invalid. And we cannot use the other symbols also. We can use the underscore, but not others. So that is the valid versus the invalid identifier. Now next are the comments. So explanatory notes embedded within the code indented for human readers, and they are completely ignored by the Python interpreter, having no effect on the program execution. Now comments are just the lines that are ignored by Python interpreter, and it is used to explain the code and basically improves readability, and it starts with the hash symbol. So as you can see here, line of code has been written, but comment has been written starting with the hash symbol. So after the hash, whatever we include in this line will be considered as a comment. So this comment reads that this is just a comment and not code. Then we print then comma two. Okay. Now what if I don't include the hash symbol? It will show an error. So comments are also very useful in real-time projects. There will be multiple lines of code, maybe 100, 500. In some cases, in a complex project, it can be 1,000 lines of code. Now, while writing any program or a code, we understand basically what we are writing. But when we are trying to share, when we are collaborating on our code, the other programmers to understand what actually is happening here. So at that point of time, comments are very useful to explain, suppose the line of code, what is happening in that line of code. So that is the main use while comments. And even if you write suppose 100 line of code, and after some time, and if you don't include comments, after suppose 2 to 3 months after, if you see the same code at 100 lines of code, you will not be able to understand what you did earlier. So it will be useful for you also and for others also. And comments are just a good practice while writing code. So it can be helpful in the future for you as well as the other programmers which are working on the same project. Okay. Now, here we have seen that there are two hash symbols for two line of code. So when I include any one hash symbol, it will be only valid for that comment for that line of code. Otherwise, if I continue on the other line, it will not be considered as a comment without the hash symbol. So if you want to write another line of code, we have to include the hash symbol. Now, the hash symbol can be used to write a single line comment. But what about the multi-line comment? So we don't have any specific symbol for writing the multi-line comment, but we can use the triple quote. So whatever the text will be included between triple quote will be considered as a string, and it will be avoided by the Python interpreter, and so that will be understood as a comment when we write the multi-line comment. Now, why we should use comment? So I discussed with you guys earlier that it will help others understand your code, and it is also used for debugging to understand the execution of each line of code. Whenever we want to find that what particular line of code does, we can include or we can comment out the other lines of code. So we can it is useful for debugging, and it makes our code more clean and maintainable. So that is the use of comments. Now I will summarize what we have learned up till now in the slide. So regarding the keyword, they are the reserved words with special meaning. So example is if, class, and, in, is, or, if, else, while, for. These are the keywords, and they have specific meaning or predefined meaning which are integral to the Python syntax. And we cannot use them as a variable name or function name or any other identifier. Now regarding the identifier, they are the names used for declaring any variables, functions, classes, modules, or other objects. So that is the identifier part. And we have some rules while declaring an identifier. It should start with a letter or an underscore, and we can include an underscore, but we cannot start an identifier by a digit or a number. So that is most important to remember. Otherwise, you will get an error. And last part is the comment. So these are the non-executable text for explanation. And we have seen the single line comment using the hash symbol. And we have also seen the multi-line comment. We don't have any specific symbol, but we use the triple quote and we write the text between them. And the Python interpreter basically will consider it as a string. So no other effect will be there on the other line of code. And that is the single line and multi-line comment. And we have also seen the usage. They are very useful to write a clean and maintainable code. It will help you and others understand your code when you're when you have multiple team members working on the same project, and it is useful also for debugging. Now, conclusion for all these three parts is that mastering these basics building blocks helps you write better code, and always to clear identifiers and write helpful commit, and we should avoid using keywords as identifier. So the slide presentation and the theoretical part is over, and we will move towards the implementation part. So let's go.